Well, let's pick up on news. This is just in a statement arriving from the South African Communist Party. Our senior political reporter, Xoli Mgambi, is with me. Xoli, we've both just been perusing through the statement. And I must say, the first line already, the SACP condemning ethnic mobilization and challenging the president to deny or confirm that he's involved in mobilizing what seems to be some kind of tribalism to help him stay in power.
Indeed, Kathy, but they go further than that. They're saying that President Jacob Zuma also needs to confirm or deny that he is about, quote-unquote, fire his deputy, Cyril Ramaphosa. And there's a very interesting line here, Kathy. I'd like to read it through very quickly. They're saying that the SACP further challenges President Jacob Zuma as a matter of urgency to deny or confirm emerging and, considering his desperation probably credible, information that he is preparing to fire Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa any time from now and replace him with Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who he wants to position to take over as acting president should he find himself removed from office. Kathy, this is quite telling. It's a preemptive strike from the SACP's side. They've obviously come across information that makes them believe that President Jacob Zuma is on the verge of firing his deputy, who is, by the way, the president of the ANC. And so the question would be, Kathy, where would President Jacob Zuma find this power? Because remember, we are told time and again that in Luthuli House sits a deployment committee where any changes that are made in government, that particular committee would first debate that and consider those names. Is
that not a precedent that has already been set by Jacob Zuma, though? Because for the various cabinet reshuffles that we have had, there has been admittal, even from the ANC, indeed, that they were not consulted on some of the changes. But let's talk about the scenario. Many analysts today, in fact, had been saying that this would be an option, a scenario, but quite a ridiculous one. The fact that we are here, however, is quite telling and may change what needs to happen in that NEC meeting tomorrow.
Kathy, it actually becomes very crucial now that in that NEC, in fact, I wonder whether it would possibly be moved up. But my sense is that perhaps it will take time late in the afternoon tomorrow as expected. But if President Jacob Zuma, if these are the moves that are afoot, and remember, Kathy, this is not just any organization that is putting out this statement. This is an ally of the ANC, which is the South African Communist Party. And their information, they know that if they put out such information, it means that they are sniffing this information from somewhere, and it possibly could happen. Because remember, read their statement. They're saying that President Jacob Zuma is in a moment of desperation, so he could do this any moment from now. If that happens, and if Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is installed as his deputy, if then he is removed, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma will become interim president. That is the likely scenario. I wonder just how comfortable the ANC is going to be with this information and what happens now. I suspect that a lot could possibly happen. The ANC definitely has got to respond to this statement coming from the SACP. It can't really be ignored, Kathy.
And of course, as we speak, Vuyo Mvoko is standing by with various analysts. Vuyo, I'm going to get to you in a moment. But Xoli, just one of the statements there, let's talk about this ethnic mobilization of Zulu regiments, as they've put it here. Does this have anything to do with the meeting that the president had with the king yesterday? You
see, Kathy, it opens that particular meeting up to further scrutiny now. What was President Jacob Zuma's visit to Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini about? We already know as well that there were Amabuto in the month of January who apparently were going to march in defense of President Jacob Zuma in KZN. You also had a member of the MK Council, Thabang Makwetla, who was sitting here saying that it is concerning that there seems to be a tribalistic tone or a tribalistic outlook to the people who are mobilizing themselves and grouping themselves in defense of President Jacob Zuma. Most of the people, by the way, Kathy, who addressed last week Friday alongside the BLF were organizations who in the main were coming from KZN. Taxi industry people were forming part of that. So there does appear to be this tribalistic tone or tribalistic grouping that are basically coming together in defense of President Jacob Zuma, and it is indeed a very, very big concern. In fact, Kathy, it was ANC NEC member Bheki Cele who spoke at the weekend, saying that it does appear that in the ANC there does seem to be some tribalistic tone, particularly directed towards the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, given that he is not a Nguni speaker. And so people need to move on from that. The country defeated that a long time ago, and the ANC is not about to be taken back.
Oh, certainly one of the dangers of this situation is that there is a sense that the country could potentially be on the precipice, really, of anarchy if some of these allegations and statements being made are not adequately dealt with. Vuyo Mvokwe is standing by to get more analysis. Vuyo, as you heard there, the SACP condemning ethnic mobilization and in fact calling on President Jacob Zuma to confirm that he's not planning at this moment to fire his deputy president.
That breaking news, a statement that was released a short while ago. Well,